Statue. If you want to teach your dog how to do this awesome trick, balancing a treat on their nose in under 10 minutes, make sure you watch through this whole video because I'll be showing you exactly how to do it. Kona, you're free. So a couple tips from the start. You're going to want to make sure you use high reward treats for this. I wouldn't make them too high reward, but you don't want your dog going crazy. Oh, I need this, I need this, I need this. You want your dog to be motivated and work for it and want to, get that food, but you don't want your dog to be going too crazy. Second, quick tip before we get started, make sure you don't get frustrated with your dog. Give your dog wins. If your dog isn't getting something, just take a half a step back on what you're doing and give your dog a win on that, and then keep moving forward and push it slowly. But if your dog isn't getting it, don't just keep trying it over and over and over again, because that's a great way to get your dog frustrated and not want to work. And tip number 3, we're not going to introduce the command right away. Once Bucky starts to understand how, what we're doing, we'll introduce the command. But at first, there's no point in introducing the command because he doesn't know what it means. The first thing we're going to want to do is get your dog used to just having the feeling of having a piece of food or kibble on their nose. We're going to hold their snout so that they don't move around, and we're essentially going to almost guide Bucky here into understanding, hey, okay, it's okay, I have this treat on my nose, and this is how I get fed. If you don't do this step, it's your dog's never going to understand it. So we have to almost hold the treat, right? We're going to take a good boy, right? Just going to hold it right on his nose. I'm still holding his snout and just placing it on. You can get a little closer so we can show, right? I'm holding his snout. I'm just placing it on. Good boy. Constantly praising. We're going to do this a bunch of times until the dog really starts to understand. Holding his snout. Good. And every time I do it, I'm going to ask for a little bit more, right? The first time I did it, I only did it for, a quarter of a second. And now we're getting to about a second after a couple times. See, that was 2 seconds. Good boy, right? Make sure we're praising so he knows he's doing a good job, and this is how he gets fed and paid. Good boy. Okay, you're free. Good. So we're going to keep doing that until your dog starts to understand it and can do it for a couple seconds with you holding their snout. This is kind of the point where we are going to start moving on to the next step. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is look for just the slightest second of separation with our hand on him holding the treat on his nose, where we're going to have to slowly factor it in. Good boy. Okay, good. Right, I released my hand. He moved around. He was going to go get it, which is okay. Right, we're going to pay him. We're going to show him. Good. Okay, good boy. Right, I'm just looking. The snap of a finger of separation on my hand of him holding it there, and he'll quickly understand. Good boy. I released my hand, and he didn't move it as quickly. Right, we're asking just a slight more every single time we ask him to do something. So I'm going to take the piece of food. Good. He'll find it. Good boy, Bucky. Here you go. Make sure he gets it. All right, Bucky. Again, right, we're still not introducing the command yet. I'm going to grab his snout, put it on. Good boy. Every single time, we're just asking a little bit more. And this is going to then transfer over to extending that over time. And a tip is when you're holding their snout, to let go very slowly. Don't just let go suddenly. Very gently release the pressure of you kind of holding their snout. Obviously, I'm not, squeezing it and holding it really tight, but good boy! It's kind of accidental, but that was really good. I'm going to praise him for that. Reward him a bunch. Good boy, Bucky. Right, and we're just going to keep practicing. If he pulls away, we'll just kind of reset. Nuh-uh. Okay, nope. So we didn't make more progress there. I'm not going to pay him. Good boy. Just very slowly releasing and just looking for an ounce of pressure. This is probably going to be the part that takes the longest of just, repetition, asking the slightest bit more every single time you do something and practicing. Okay, awesome. My hand was just touching. It wasn't holding it at that point, and he got it for, I don't know, a good maybe half a second or so on that. We're going to keep practicing this. I'm not touching him right now. There you go. That was almost 2 seconds of me not touching him. Good boy, Bucky. We're going to keep doing this, practicing, showing him, right? It's okay, asking just a little bit more. Good boy. That was perfect. That was awesome. He is flying through this. Step number 3 is working on adding the command to it. He now understands what is being asked of him. It's very obvious because I put it on his nose and he tries to get it, but he definitely knows what I'm asking of him. So I'm going to add the command. We're going to make the command statue. You can make it whatever you want. And we're going to add the command and start looking for a little more, time of him holding it. So, Bucky, statue. Statue. Good boy! I'm going to make sure, one other thing, as we're paying him, if I can take it off his nose and hand it to him, it's going to make things a little easier. If it falls, it's okay. Bucky, hey, statue. Good boy! Right, I didn't catch it in time. He knocked it off him. You just don't want him to get all distracted looking around for it and thinking that there's a bunch more food under there. Bucky, sit. See, right? Come here, look, sit. Good boy. Grab another piece of food. We're going to ask for just the slightest bit more of separation, right? Again, statue. Good boy, you're free. There you go. And also you can start adding the release command now as well, which is, we're going to have it, you're free. All right, it can be whatever you want it to be. Bucky, statue. Right, so he fell off. I'm not going to pay him for that. Statue. Okay, you're free. Good boy. Right, I'm making it very clear, okay, you're free, right? You don't have to do it anymore. And he is starting to get it a lot more and more. And every time I ask him to do it, I'm going to ask for just a little bit more. Statue. He moves his head around a little bit, which we can obviously work on over time. Statue. Good boy! So, step number 4, we're going to work on adding very, very minor distractions. And what I mean by that is, even this is a distraction. You know, stepping back, moving a little quicker, that's a distraction for him. And he's got it down to this point. So we're going to move on to the next step, right? Again, don't get frustrated. This is kind of the point where your dog really starts to learn. Okay, right? We're starting to get there. Statue. Adding the command. Statue. Good boy, you're free. Right? And so me just moving my hands a little quicker, his ears perked. He almost made a sudden movement. He kind of wanted to. Good boy, Bucky. Hey. And so that's a distraction, and we'll slowly add more and more distractions. Statue. Good boy. Good. Right, I'm going to move around a little bit more. He's moving. His head's moving. Isn't great. Good boy. You're free. Good. Ready? Right, adding just a little bit more every time we do it, especially if he's getting it. If he's not getting it, we're going to take a half step back or try what we did the time before that. The last thing you're going to want to do working with your dog on this trick, practice, repetition. Make sure we just keep doing this over and over again. And again, asking a little bit more of your dog every single time you do it. Nah, Bucky, hey. Statue. Just a little bit more every time you do it. And once you get to a certain point, you'll just kind of know. You'll ask the same thing of him every single time for, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and then move on a little bit further. Statue. Nah, Bucky, hey. No. Statue. Okay, you're free. The more you practice this, the better it's going to get. Good boy. Reinforcing what he's doing. Good boy. If you work on this, 5, 10 minutes here and there, 3 or 4 training sessions, he's going to have a very, very good understanding of this. You just add more and more distractions. Okay, you're free. just continue reinforcing it.